And welcome back to Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by Livingston Parish News. This is from the cheap seats. It's where I sit down with this gentleman here who's going to introduce himself in just a second, and we talk about what's going on in athletics in Livingston Parish. Take it away, sir. Introduce yourself.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond. I'm the sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And we got plenty to talk about today. So, as with David, we're going to move at a pretty efficient clip here. First and foremost, a quick little sort of announcement / request from the public. Swimming, kind of like soccer, started in about 2010 and grew. Swimming seems to be growing here in Livingston Parish.
Correct.
They're hosting their first parish meet, and you're looking for some information.
That'll be. I just want to get the basics out here. Let people know. Livingston Parish Swim Meet will be held Saturday, starting at 8:10 a.m. at the Pards Aquatic Center. It'll be Denham Springs, Live Oak, and Walker. And I know they want to get started and then eventually hope to grow this event. But you got to start somewhere. So this is it. I think it's a good thing for the parish. As always, anytime you can get the parish teams together and compete in anything, it's always a good thing.
Yeah. So and again, kind of like soccer has grown quite a bit in popularity here. And so is swimming as well. I do believe Miss Margot May heads it up at Denham. Not sure who does it at Live Oak. And, of course, formerly of the news, Mr. Kevin Fambro does it at Walker.
Correct.
So going to be interesting to see how that first meet goes for the teams in Livingston Parish. Good luck to those swimmers. Getting into the next, we're going to talk about volleyball. And lots going on in the volleyball world. Let's start with curveball. Let's start with Live Oak because they went on the road, didn't they? Had a pretty good tournament showing.
Then went to the Ruston tournament. If I looked at it correctly, they went 5-1, which is great for them. Takes some momentum into district. I think they lost their district opener. The district has started for the some of these teams already. It seems like we just started the season, but here we are. We're in district play. And Denham Springs got a win over East Ascension Open District as well. So Live Oak and Denham will be taking on each other. They'll be at Live Oak today, Denham and Live Oak. So here we are. It has begun,
Right.
the district race. But like I said, it seems like we just started, but it's already here upon us. I guess the good thing about that the big district is you have all three of the 5A schools in the same district now. So it makes it a little bit easier for them to keep up and they compete against each other, and it counts.
Sure.
And
also, the little upstart program in the town of Livingston, Doyle, who we've discussed several times, decided, you know what, we're going to give it a shot, and we're going to have a varsity team this year, is currently undefeated in their district.
Correct. Last week they picked up their first district win in program history over A-Meet. They swept them, and you get done and you start talking to a couple players and just kind of looked, and we were like, hey, wait a minute, this is y'all's first ever district win. And it's like, oh yeah, it is. And I don't think it hit us until after the match where you're talking to them and they go, oh yeah, we just made history again. So, and they wind up beating St. Helena yesterday. So they're 2-0 in district to start, which is a great thing. And, and talking to Coach Burns after a meet, she was just like, it just gives us kind of that confidence to know that, hey, we can do this. And it we see what we're going to face in district. So it kind of gives them a gauge of saying, okay, we can compete and we'll be okay.
Sure. And last but certainly not least, we talked about the 3 5As in Doyle. There's Springfield.
Yep, Springfield got a win over Independence yesterday, 25-3, 25-18, 25-7. And I believe that was their first district match, I believe. And their last time I saw them was a couple weeks ago against Live Oak. They were missing a couple players, and they're just trying to kind of figure some stuff out at this point. But I think they're going to be in good shape once they get rolling here.
Moving into the meat of the show, we're talking about football. And let's just stick with Springfield and go back the other way. So Springfield, I believe it was homecoming. And,
yes, correct.
Pulled in Slaughter Charter.
Correct.
Did not go the way they wanted it to go.
No, it winds up 44-16, and it was one of those things where when I talked to Coach Surpass on Tuesday, I think we said it on the show, just in talking to him, you could tell it was kind of like one of those things where, after that big win over Albany the previous week, it's like we kind of got to get these guys back in and get them focused on what's going on. And then, just some strange things happened. They got some injuries as well, but one of the touchdowns that Slaughter Charter scored there, I think at about the 7-yard line going in, and the running back fumbles the ball into the end zone, and a teammate recovers. It was just one of those nights, and I think at that point they had 22 points on Springfield at that point. As well, they kind of bottled up Jatoris Buggage during that game, and he's been the spark plug for that offense. He busted a big run at the end of the first half, and then had another big run in the beginning of the second half, and then kind of had a play there where they kind of bottled him up, and he and the defensive lineman from Slaughter Charter kind of get into it, and he winds up getting ejected from that game. Asked Coach Surpass about that this week, and he said they should have Jatoris Buggage with him this week. He's taking care of all his obligations to the Athletic Association in terms of his sportsmanship, things and stuff like that. But Coach Surpass said that he's still got some team issued, I guess, work to do on the side just to make sure that those types of things don't happen again for them. So, and they will be at Central Private. Coach Surpass said that's the first time they've ever gone on the road to Central Private, so that'll be part of the challenge. And he said the team is really similar to in terms of what they're doing in terms to Slaughter Charter. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, an interesting road game going into the East Baton Rouge area. They don't typically do that a lot.
No, I know they've scrimmaged them before, but like I said, we just started talking. He said this is the first time that they've gone over to Central Private to play. So I think when I called him, I think he was actually looking up, trying to put his itinerary together in terms of, okay, which way do we need to go and things like that. It's just timing of the phone call,
Right.
So,
well, yeah, and you and I are both used to Springfield going east, not west.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different for them.
Yeah,
so.
Going to be interesting. So, and throwing directions at those of you who are listening, going north and talking about Albany, who did they have last week and who do they have coming up?
Let's see, they got a 58-0 win over Fisher. It was one of those things where they build up a big lead. It also helped in terms of, for them, it was overcoming that loss to Springfield the previous week. Really efficient. I want to say around 400 yards of total offense. They only had 26 snaps. So they were just really efficient in what they were doing. But, and it gave Coach LaGoria a chance to kind of play some younger players, which he said always helps your program because it keeps the interest going. Kids see that, they want to come out and they want to contribute as well. So that's one of those things that was able to help them. And they will be hosting Riverdale. This game was moved. They were supposed to play this game on Saturday in the New Orleans area, but Coach LaGoria texted me last week. He said, we've moved it. It's going to be at Albany, Riverdale at Albany with a 6 o'clock kickoff on Thursday. So that's a little bit different. It was one of those things where I think they were eyeing the hurricane or the system that was building out there, and it was one of those things where they kind of wanted to get ahead of that, and that's how we wind up with a Thursday game at 6 o'clock. So he said it's they're going to see probably a good dose of the run game, and he's expecting a good game there. And we're just kind of joking, just like if he said if we both run the ball well, we could have you home by 8 o'clock. So we'll see what happens. So
yeah, those heavy running games tend to move pretty quick.
Yeah, I told him I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So.
And just to let y'all know, we have 3 Thursday games this week.
That's correct.
2 Friday. So far, Springfield is on Friday. Albany is on Thursday. Let's move over to Walker. How'd they do last week and who they have coming up? And is it on Thursday or Friday?
It is a Thursday game. It is homecoming for Walker. They'll be hosting Bel Air. They are coming off a 2019 loss to Kentwood. They had to go to Kentwood and play. There was a lot of turnovers there and miscues that, Coach Mahaffey was kind of harping on. I think at one point they get down inside the 5, lose a fumble. There was a 2-point conversion. They lost a fumble on. So he said there was a point there where they could have taken a 9-point lead and they were unable to do it. So that's just, you said you hope that you learn from that. You see those mistakes that you make and you can build from that. And, he said that with the short week, they had Sunday practice, he said we started off kind of slow, but about midway through, you could kind of see it picking up a little bit, and the kids are kind of getting their feet back underneath them and getting ready to go here. So, in Bel Air, it's a team that made the playoffs, I think, last year, first time in a long time, and he said they're just you can see there's some youth there with that team, and just going to kind of see how it plays out.
Sure. So, and that, again, will be Thursday, and that will be their homecoming game as well.
Correct.
Moving next door to Denham, as we kind of snake our way up. Denham, who'd they play last week? And I believe you and I talked about it before the show. They're going to be heading to the Lafayette area on Friday.
Yes, correct. They picked up a win, 28-20 road win over Franklinton last Thursday. Deshaun McBride returned an onside kick late in the game to kind of seal it for them. It was kind of back and forth with them. Had some big plays they gave up, and their special teams was really key for them there in that game. And they're 4-0 for the first time since 1995. So, and this is
congratulations to the Yellow Jackets.
This is a big test in going to St. Thomas More. I think it's one of those ones when Coach Beard and I sat down and talked about the schedule a little bit back in August. You don't want to say you circle it, but it's one that they look forward to. There's a couple different reasons. If you've ever talked to Coach Beard about his scheduling, it's in these road games like this, he not only wants to experience environments he's never been in, but he also wants his team to experience those things as well. And St. Thomas More, you guys know well, has had a lot of success over the years, and that's just one of those environments that he wants the team to experience. He wants to experience, and he wants to coach against Coach Hightower over there, who's been doing this a really long time. So it's a dual purpose, and if Denham can get a win there, that's huge momentum for them.
Yeah, and so that's a big game for them. Again, that's the second Friday game, and we have 2 Thursday games, so that leaves Live Oak, who also play on Thursday. Who'd they play last week, and what do they have coming up?
They picked up a win, 43-8 over St. Helena. I think the big thing here is Coach Westmoreland and I talked about he's got a bunch of sophomores starting, which is something they knew. But they're after that loss to Dunham, he said it's kind of like you don't want to say switch went on, but it's kind of like, okay, we understand. He said we're really honest with our kids about where they are and what they're doing. And they've just kind of gotten the job done, There's spreading the ball out offensively, passing and in the run game. And he said a lot of people that, hey, we want 50-50 run pass. But to me, if we've got all these kids that we can use, let's use them all. And so that's one of those things that they're doing. They will be hosting John F. Kennedy for homecoming on Thursday. It's another homecoming game. John F. Kennedy's had some real success here. I think they're 3-1, so this is going to be a test for them to see where they are as well.
Yeah, so a lot of good football coming up this week. Not quite into district in football, but as you mentioned, getting into district in volleyball. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you taking the time. Please reintroduce yourself as we head out here.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys out there for joining us on the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. This is From the Cheap Seats. It's where Rob and I sit down and talk about what's going on in athletics here in Livingston Parish. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.